There are fighters who step into the ring to win. And then there was Mike Tyson, a force of nature who entered combat as if guided by destiny. Shaped by rage and fueled by an inner storm few men could survive. The fighters who dared to provoke him, mock him, or spit in the direction of his legacy didn't realize they weren't taunting a man. They were summoning a hurricane. They sharpened the very blade meant to carve their downfall, igniting a wrath forged in the fires of childhood trauma, gym wars, and the unbreakable bond he carried with his mentors. In every corner of the boxing world, opponents ran their mouths, tried to rattle the Iron King, and strutted around with borrowed arrogance. But every insult they spat only brought the storm closer. The parade of fools began with a swaggering loudmouth, Peter McNeely, who tried to weaponize disrespect against the returning Tyson after 2 years behind bars. Tyson stepped back into the spotlight with the world watching, uncertain of what remained of the legend. McNeely believed prison had softened the monster, turning him into a rusted relic. Instead of preparing for a real fight, he painted himself as a conquering hero, boasting that he would dismantle the former champion. But the moment the bell sounded, Tyson erupted into motion like a beast unleashed from a cage, smashing McNeely to the canvas within seconds and sending shockwaves through the entire arena. The overconfident challenger, still drunk on his own bravado, stumbled back to his feet only to be buried again under another avalanche of violence. In less than a round, the hurricane had proven that steel left in the storm does not rust, it hardens. But McNeely was only one in a long line of arrogant men who stepped forward, believing they could tarnish Tyson's legend. Among the most delusional was Donovan "Razor" Rudek, towering powerhouse with dangerous strength, but an ego that spiraled far beyond his skill. After Tyson's shocking loss to Buster Douglas, many fighters suddenly found their courage, believing the Iron King had been dethroned forever. Rudek was the boldest among them, taunting Tyson relentlessly and predicting grim outcomes that would never come to pass. He strutted into their showdown, dripping with arrogance, convinced he would break a wounded man. Instead, he awakened a version of Tyson that fought not with fear of defeat, but with fury at disrespect. Their fight unfolded like a war between gods. Each punch thrown with the weight of nations, the ring trembling under the violence. Both men hit the floor. Both men tasted danger. But Tyson, with his jaw clenched and his spirit ignited, crushed Rudek until the referee was forced to intervene. And though the stoppage lit the arena on fire, the truth remained: Tyson had delivered the punishment he promised. But no opponent stirred the fire inside Tyson the way Larry Holmes did. Holmes wasn't just another boxer. He was the man who humiliated Muhammad Ali in the twilight of the legend's career. Tyson grew up idolizing Ali, modeling his toughness after the champion's charisma and grace. Watching Holmes batter a fading Ali awakened something primal in young Mike. At 14, with tears streaming down his face and confusion swirling in his heart, he vowed that one day he would restore Ali's honor. Years later, that moment arrived. As Tyson approached the ring, he carried not just his gloves, not just his ambition, but the ghost of Ali's suffering on his shoulders. Holmes, confident in his status, threw insults into the wind, believing Tyson wasn't worthy of sharing a ring with him. The moment the fight began, those words dissolved into fear. Tyson hunted him relentlessly, firing punches with the intensity of a man possessed. Holmes tried to escape, tried to survive, but the Iron King gave no mercy. When the final blow arrived, a devastating shot that folded Holmes like a collapsing tower, it wasn't just a knockout. It was justice, years in the making. Yet the parade of defiant opponents continued. Andrew Golota, infamous for his dirty tactics and low blow scandals, thought fearlessness meant invincibility. He had bullied fighters before. He had broken rules and bones. And he entered the ring with Tyson believing he could outmuscle him through chaos. Instead, he found himself drowning under a barrage of fists that destroyed his confidence and twisted his expression into pure panic. Tyson battered him until his face swelled, until each punch rattled his soul. Until Golota, supposedly the toughest of the tough, quit on his stool like a frightened child. The crowd booed, cursed, and jeered as Golota fled the ring, abandoning whatever dignity he had left. Tyson didn't even chase him. He had already won. The punishment had been delivered. Another rat had been crushed years earlier. Another man had tasted that same justice. Trevor Berbick, the reigning champion, underestimated the young Mike Tyson, believing raw experience would overpower youthful hunger. Instead, he found himself destroyed in one of the most iconic moments in boxing history. Berbick tried to bully Tyson with sloppy bravado, swinging wildly in hopes of intimidating the young contender. Tyson responded with sharp, brutal combinations that echoed through the arena like cannon fire. When the final blow landed, Berbick stumbled across the ring in a daze, collapsing multiple times in a tragic dance of defeat. Tyson didn't just win the belt that night, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Carving his name into mythology, years later, Carl Williams tried his own hand at arrogance. Boasting about sparring sessions from long ago and claiming superiority over the Iron King, he entered the ring with height, reach, and confidence, believing he could keep Tyson at bay. But Tyson, fueled by memories and sharpened by war, closed the distance like a missile seeking its target. One perfectly timed hook shattered Williams' defenses, sending him crashing to the canvas before he even realized the fight had begun. In seconds, it was over. The loudest voices, Tyson proved once again, were usually backed by the weakest hearts. Through all these battles, one truth became clear. Tyson was never the villain his enemies portrayed. He was the reckoning. He was the storm that arrived when arrogance crossed the line. He punished disrespect not with words, but with pure, unfiltered force. Every insult hurled at him became fuel. Every taunt became a spark. Every act of disrespect directed his path toward the throne of the heavyweight division. And in the end, the world understood what these fools learned too late. You do not provoke the storm unless you are ready to drown. If you enjoy these deep dive breakdowns of boxing's most legendary battles and want more dramatic stories from the golden age of the heavyweight division, make sure to hit the like button. Tell us in the comments which Tyson fight or which iconic rivalry you want narrated next. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode of The Chaos, the fury, and the unforgettable legends that shaped boxing history.